Hi and welcome to Flossom Talk. I am Shashti Flo, and today I feel like this is probably going to be the most important video.
Imagine a world where friendships in Hollywood can shatter without warning, where laughter on set turns into lawsuits, and where power is wielded not just through fame, but through silent manipulation and well-oiled PR machines. This is the world that allegedly unfolded between Justin Baldoni and Ryan Reynolds, a tale that began with creative collaboration and ended in accusations of betrayal, defamation, and conspiracy. The breakdown, once a whisper in the corridors of Hollywood, has become a roaring scandal, echoing across tabloids, social media, and legal documents. What makes this story gripping is not just the names involved, Baldoni and Lively, but the brutal exposure of the power dynamics at play. The drama ignited when Blake Lively filed an retaliation complaint against Baldoni. Her co-star in It Ends With Us, a move that soon spiraled into a full-blown legal war. Baldoni, blindsided, retaliated with a lawsuit targeting not just Lively, but also Ryan Reynolds, their publicist, and even the New York Times, claiming a coordinated smear campaign designed to destroy his reputation. To handle the chaos, Baldoni hired a crisis PR firm with ties to high-profile cases like Johnny Depp's, raising eyebrows about the severity of the damage control needed. Yet contrary to some viral claims, the court didn't dismiss all of Baldoni's countersuit, merely filtered which claims could proceed, while Lively's case continued, leaving the legal and public relations battlefield still fiercely active. The fallout affected more than reputations. According to insiders, Reynolds' public image, crafted as Hollywood's charming everyman, suffered as social media turned sour, forcing him to make his posts private and avoid public commentary. Though Reynolds remains a business powerhouse, with ventures like aviation, gin, and Mint Mobile, there's little doubt this controversy has disrupted his carefully managed image. Once hailed as the untouchable funny man, Reynolds is now under scrutiny for what some allege is covert manipulation behind the scenes. The scandal didn't erupt overnight. Before it all unraveled, Baldoni had a rising trajectory as an actor-director known for thoughtful, community-driven projects. Reynolds, already among Hollywood royalty, allegedly intersected with Baldoni professionally, perhaps as collaborators or mutual insiders. Then came the rupture, fueled by whispers of defamation, betrayal, and suppression. At the heart of Baldoni's claims was a belief that the smear campaign was not accidental, but a calculated strike intended to ruin his career right as he was preparing to step into his most influential phase. Sources claim the attack blindsided him. He wasn't just protecting a project, he was defending his character and future. The lawsuits painted Reynolds and Lively's camp as part of an orchestrated effort to discredit Baldoni in the public eye, weaponizing media, legal teams, and PR's power to dominate the narrative. Even more troubling are allegations that Baldoni was silenced behind closed doors, pressured into avoiding public statements, while stories unfavorable to him flooded the internet. Team, including publicist Stephanie Jones, used their industry clout to shape public perception, allegedly planting stories that minimized Baldoni's side and glorified their own. Critics argue this reveals a broader problem, that fame in Hollywood is no longer about talent alone, but about how well you control the machine, how tightly you can grip the levers of influence, spin, and public sympathy. While Baldoni scrambled to contain the damage, Reynolds remained well-positioned. Fortified by years of business acumen and alliances with media moguls like Time Magazine's Mark Benioff, connections that deep provide the kind of insulation few can challenge. Stories highlighting Lively's accomplishments and Reynolds' business wins popped up suspiciously during the height of the scandal, fueling speculation that these glowing features were part of a media strategy to drown out the legal drama. As if that weren't enough, the involvement of PR and legal heavyweights with ties to political and entertainment spheres, like Ari Emanuel and his brother Ram, suggests this might be more than a personal feud. It could be the product of a full-blown industry machinery shielding one of its most valuable players. Meanwhile, Reynolds' own admissions in interviews show a complicated relationship with fame. He's called himself a people pleaser, shaped by a tough childhood with a withholding father. He says he reminds his children to disappoint one person today to preserve boundaries, an ironic confession. Given the allegations that he struggles to respect others' boundaries when it comes to protecting his empire, Reynolds' self-awareness, while charming, only makes the accusations sting harder. If he knows how image building works he clearly does then every strategic silence. Every curated post, every flattering profile can be viewed as a move in a larger game of control. From yacht races with Hugh Jackman to investment deals. With billionaires, Reynolds has built an empire on likability and business savvy. But if part of that success includes the quiet elimination of dissenting voices like Baldoni's, the story takes on a much darker tone. And yet, this isn't just about one man or even one couple. It's about an ecosystem where reputations can be molded or shattered by those with the right resources. As Reynolds' circle continues to thrive, Baldoni remains in recovery mode, relying on his own reputation and the hope that the truth, however murky, will eventually cut through the spin. But in an industry built on perception, where a publicist's call can rewrite a narrative and a tabloid headline can override a legal document, that truth may be hard to find. While Reynolds continues to smile in interviews and build global, sailing teams with Hollywood's elite, the stain of this scandal lingers less visible perhaps, but no less potent. And for those watching from the sidelines, the question remains, is this just another celebrity spat blown out of proportion? Or is it a cautionary tale about how the powerful stay powerful, no matter who they step on to get there?
The reason why I did that now so much later, and also because it took me a while, to be honest with you, it took me a while to actually get over it.
How much of what we believe about Hollywood's biggest names is reality? And how much is a meticulous fabrication of image management and public narrative control? That question takes center stage in the unraveling feud between Justin Baldoni and Ryan Reynolds' saga that continues to expose the unsettling machinery of celebrity influence, while Reynolds' side appeared eerily composed, almost silent in its response. Reports from within suggest that Baldoni's world was the opposite. He found himself in the eye of a reputational storm, with colleagues and crew members allegedly stepping forward to defend him, risking their own positions to push back against what they claimed was a gross misrepresentation. Unlike Reynolds' pristine, PR-controlled quiet, Baldoni's support came from people willing to speak out, people willing to put their names behind him. That contrast to organic backing versus professional silence invites deeper inspection, as Reynolds is quiet. A show of dignity or a strategic deployment of silence to let the machine do the work for him. In Hollywood, silence often isn't. Absence, it's a tool, especially when wielded by someone with a powerful publicist, deep media connections, and a persona so polished that even scandal seems unlikely to stick. And it's that imbalance, disparity between Baldoni's vulnerable standing and Reynolds' impenetrable fortress, that continues to shape how this story is interpreted. The deeper you look, the more you begin to wonder how vast this apparatus really is. If so many resources were mobilized to neutralize Baldoni's voice, what was the real threat he posed, and why was it so important to suppress him? Some believe that Baldoni lost a key legal round simply because the stress, cost, and complexity of the case wore him down, not because the accusations lacked merit. That possibility leads to an even more sobering reality. What if the legal process itself can be drowned under enough influence and PR noise? Many observers have connected the dots backward, pointing to April, when Blake Lively received a Time 100 award as one of the most influential people of 2025, despite the fact that her last significant civic gesture was a donation to the NAACP in 2019. Why now? Why her? Critics allege this was all part of a grander Plana PR rescue operation, not just for Lively, but for Reynolds as well. A plan that included Lively's award, a public endorsement from a civil rights attorney, a conveniently timed Time 100 companies feature for Reynolds' businesses, and an emotionally charged gala appearance featuring Blake's mother and themes of domestic violence, an overt effort to spin the narrative away from scandal and toward heroism. Was it all just PR sleight of hand? For a man like Reynolds, known for his quick wit, clean image, and lovable persona, the emerging accusations are jarring, but they are also eye-opening. Reynolds himself has admitted to being a people pleaser, But insiders are now questioning whether that trait is a form of emotional intelligence or emotional manipulation. Being universally liked in an industry where perception equals power can be a potent weapon. Is Reynolds' reputation as Hollywood's most charming leading man just another product of strategic branding? Is the self-deprecation, the viral humor, the loving husband and dad persona, all part of a larger campaign to cement an untouchable public image? The allegations related to Justin Baldoni suggest it might be. Those who've worked closely with Reynolds reportedly describe an unsettling blend of insecurity and control beneath the charm, suggesting that his likability is so carefully engineered. It's more marketing than authenticity. Just about Reynolds defending his name, it's about whether he used that name and the PR architecture behind it to actively damage someone else. Allegations claim that Reynolds didn't need to publicly attack Baldoni because the machine did it for him. Media coverage downplaying Baldoni's perspective. Social media narratives favoring Reynolds. Silence from Reynolds' team that allowed the narrative to calcify in his favor. And this isn't the first time Reynolds has been accused of being overly calculated. Whispers about him maneuvering behind the scenes, carefully controlling every public move from marriage optics to business partnerships, have existed for years. But this scandal tears the curtain wide open. Baldoni, unable to match Reynolds' media firepower, reportedly brought in a crisis PR firm, the same one that represented Johnny Depp during his legal chaos just to survive the storm. Even then, his side struggled to break through the noise. And Reynolds? He moved through it untouched, continuing to secure business deals, investing in high-profile ventures, and leveraging his name like a brand shield. In this case, public favor wasn't just helpful, it was weaponized. The alleged mocking of Baldoni, through character portrayals, quiet jokes, and subtle on-screen jabs, only intensified the sense that Reynolds' image wasn't just protective, it was predatory. Crew members on It Ends With Us reportedly noticed moments that seemed to directly target Baldoni long before the public caught on. The mockery, if true, wasn't random, it was strategic, premeditated, and cruel. And even then, Baldoni stayed relatively quiet, perhaps hoping the truth would rise above the PR fog. It hasn't. Meanwhile, the Reynolds' lively front continued forward, issuing no apologies, offering no reconciliatory gestures, to LL refusing to own up to even the smallest of missteps, like Blake reportedly refusing to apologize to a co-star named Kirsty for what many described as bullying behavior. That refusal to engage, to admit fault, appears to be the foundation of their defense: deny, distract, and dominate the narrative. And it worked. While Reynolds' businesses were featured in top publications and Lively was being honored at prestigious, Gallus Baldoni was wading through damage control with the odds stacked against him. If it can happen to him, how many others has Hollywood silenced the same way? What's a chilling thought, one echoed in the stories of others who've spoken out at her, like Terry Crews, who was met with skepticism and resistance after sharing his own experiences with power imbalance in the industry. The entertainment world has always had gatekeepers, and those with the biggest networks, the deepest pockets, and the best connected PR teams hold the keys. And here's where it becomes systemic. The machinery protecting Reynolds reportedly involves not just his publicists, but powerful media figures, political allies, and industry executives. Insiders allege that his connections to Mark Benioff, the owner of Time magazine, may have played a role in shaping positive press, or at least in sidelining unfavorable stories. There are even whispers about Ari Emanuel and his brother Ramin, with deep entertainment and political reach being part of the effort to steer attention and soften public backlash. This isn't just one actor playing PR games, it's potentially an entire network mobilizing to maintain control. Every glowing article, every curated interview, every smiling red carpet moment becomes suspect when seen through this lens. Baldoni, in contrast, was left to build his defense piece by piece, relying on the bravery of crew members, friends, and a shrinking circle of allies willing to go on record. It's the classic Hollywood imbalance. One man has a megaphone, the other has a whisper. Even coverage of the situation reveals the lopsided media game. While Reynolds and Lively continued to receive fawning press, the few attempts to tell Baldoni's side were either buried or spun as petty. Why? Because in Hollywood, the truth doesn't matter as much as who owns the loudest platform. These allegations against Reynolds and Lively hold even a shred of truth. They point to an industry-wide problem, the illusion of accountability when power is centralized in a few elite hands. Publicists, outlets, and award committees all allegedly conspired to reinforce Reynolds' brand, rewarding the couple even during times of public skepticism. Meanwhile, those close to Baldoni insist he was targeted, misrepresented, and ultimately buried under the weight of an unbeatable system. That's the haunting question that remains. How many other Justin Baldonis are out there silenced, sidelined, and forgotten not because they were wrong, but because they didn't have the firepower to fight back? The Reynolds-Baldoni fallout, messy and public as it is, may simply be a window into something much darker, machine designed to elevate some and erase others based not on truth, but on clout. Reynolds' carefully crafted charm, his viral jokes, his family man persona, none of it may be inherently false. But if used as a shield to deflect criticism, to silence others, or to protect interests at the expense of integrity, then it becomes more than just branding. It becomes deception. The real tragedy might not be the scandal itself, but what it reveals about the industry as a whole. If the Reynolds brand can withstand such scrutiny, maybe the lesson isn't about him, it's about us, and how willing we are to believe the image over the reality. And perhaps, just perhaps, it's time we stop accepting the glossy surface and start asking who's paying to keep it that way.